to the petitioner Skylight LLP, of which Robert Vadra and his mother Maureen Wadia were partners. It is submitted the check in this was issued by Robert Vadra for an amount of 30 lakhs in 2009 in favor of the driver of Mahesh Nagar, who was then Ashok Kumar credited it back 30 lakh rupees in 2010 to the petitioner Mahesh Nagar. Why I'm finding it so laughable is, first, there were non-existent people to whom this state land was sold, and remember, this is land that was being used for the forces. Then it was sold by power of attorney by a midman to Ashok. Ashok is the driver of Mahesh Nagar, who apparently is in collusion, and he's also one of the people who's filed this. And then it was finally sold to Robert Vadra. It was then sold back from the driver, and it went back to Ashok, to Mahesh Nagar. Even though this seems, I'm saying it quickly, maybe it's a little confusing. The fact is the charges are extremely serious. This is land allotted to Benami individuals. Today, the people have come to the court, Deepthi, and they say that in the court, they say that, we didn't know what was happening. We have to see how far the ED and the CBI's investigation will continue. Deepthi, I hand it back to you with one comment. Today, when Robert Vadra was being questioned, and that sequence is going to be played out, that questioning and the way he almost attacked and the way he almost was so angry with the journalists clearly shows he's trying to take away the journalists' right to free press and to practice, because the journalists were calling him sir. But Robert Vadra, in his anger, even told his people file a police FIR against these journalists only for doing their job.
Yes, and Rhythm, we both know that we've seen a redux of this entire episode playing out again and again. I think not the very first time that Robert Vadra, actually has behaved like this. If you recall, once he told our colleague Piyush, are you serious? So, this is standard, typical Robert Vadra for you, who obviously believes that there is a sense of entitlement that's written all over him. And also, interestingly, Rhythm, I want you to opine on the fact that what happened in the court, because the Vadras actually go to the court, the Jodhpur High Court, and they actually said that, we should be given a protection saying we will not be arrested by the Enforcement Directorate ever in the case in case they want to question us. But that plea was challenged by the Enforcement Directorate. So this, in that way, is a huge setback for the Vadras, who went to the court looking for this relief. Clearly, that relief has not happened, and I'm not sure what is the merit of the case yet. What are, the case points that the judge might have gone through? But clearly there is some merit in what the ED says that, in case B, we might have to arrest them.
Well, the ED has basically gone to the court and said we have an ECIR, Deepthi. An ECIR, like I said, is an FIR. They're saying the other side, which is KTS Tulsi, senior advocate who represented Robert Vadra and others in this case, have tried to tell the courtroom that the ECIR copy should be provided to them. However, under the law in which ED is governed, there are certain very crucial details that can be important for money laundering and the acts against money laundering. Therefore, that ECIR is not usually provided. Then they said that since the ECIR is not being provided, we are not named in some of the FIRs and the chart sheets. Therefore, the second thing Robert Vadra, Skylight, Mahesh Nagar tried to say in the courtroom is this entire proceeding of the ED should be quashed. And the court said, well, that particular plea that you are making is premature. So they will be looking at it later. In 2018, they had got interim protection. It is very interesting as to why they've suddenly come forward. And the court had earlier granted them 2 weeks of interim protection. But KTS Tulsi, a senior advocate appearing for Robert Vadra, requested that they should be made to 4 weeks, and now within 4 weeks, I do believe very quickly we shall have a plea by Robert Vadra and others to the Supreme Court where they try and get some relief from arrest.
Yes, so Rhythm, let's do one thing. We'll carry forward this conversation, also trying to see if we can get Shravan live on the entire case, as he's also tracked this case very closely. In the meantime, this is exactly what happened, ladies and gentlemen, when our colleagues were out there trying to speak to Robert Vadra. Look at his behavior, look at his conduct, look at his body language, look and hear very clearly the threat that he is putting out to journalists who are even daring to question Mr. Robert Vadra.
Robert Vadra sir, just one response from you, sir.
पुलिस केस करो इनके ऊपर. पुलिस केस करो इनके ऊपर.
Sir, just one response from you, sir. What will be your next course of action, sir?
There you can see Robert Vadra without the case that taking legal.
Sir, just one response I'm asking, sir.
There you can see Robert Vadra who was
Sir, just one response from you, sir. Sir,
पुलिस
if
केस
you
करो
think,
इनके
sir,
ऊपर
what?
पुलिस केस करो इनके ऊपर
Sir, just one response from you, sir. What will be your next course of action, sir?
there you can see Robert Vadra without the case that taking legal.
Sir, just one response I'm asking, sir.
Let's go back to Rhythm on that story. And Rhythm, why don't you opine more on this conduct that we have seen? Because, you know, when you're in public life, you can be put to scrutiny. What's the harm? You know, when you can come forward on a lot of other occasions, you have an opinion on every other thing on Twitter or elsewhere. And today, because of a development in the court, you had our colleagues out there, a lot of other media channels who just wanted to speak to Robert Vadra about the development. But what about this conduct? What about this behavior, Rhythm? What does that tell us?
I think it tells us it's a very telling situation, Deepti, that he's actually angry. What I found very surprising is how he came out of his own place and he had this camera in his hand and he was rushing towards the journalists almost as if he was about to attack them. Verbally, of course, when he said file a police FIR, it was a veiled threat and a warning being given to journalists. Yes, we've seen Piyush several times try and track him and the same behavior. But today, the aggression, the preposterous, abrasive behavior that was seen with journalists was completely surprising, and to give us a warning that if we go ahead with continuing to ask questions, in fact, ironically, which goes in his favor because we are giving him a chance to say what happened in the court. We are not there trying to get anything but a sense of what happened in the court, and yet instead of answering that question simply, the verbal, almost verbose and belligerent stand that was taken by Robert Vadra was surprising. Also, then he tells his person, file a police FIR against journalists. Does he realize that journalists have the right to free press and free reporting under Article 19(1)(a), and the charges in the Bikaner land deals are serious? That's why he's moving for interim protection. That's why he's telling the court, quash the ECIR that has been filed against me. There are no cases made out against me. These are allegations today we can say that the ED has made because he says that I'm still not an accused, but these are very serious allegations. This is state land. This is land that was to be used for our forces, and this land was sold to non-existent people in 2009. We all remember what was happening in 2009. After which that land was sold to another non-existent person. Finally, it lands in the hands of the driver of Mahesh Nagar, and then it is sold to Robert Vadra by the driver for 30 lakh rupees, and then sold back by them to Mahesh Nagar. So, it is as laughable as it seems right now. The seriousness really comes out about what the land deals are about if we actually look very closely at what is being investigated. In fact, I remember seeing the land in Bikaner. I remember at the ED office in Jaipur where the questioning was taking place, where the questioning was happening, and they're also saying that we don't want to want the custodial interrogation to continue. Why not? It is something that everyone does when a case is there against them, and that's the only thing that's happening in the case. So they should actually just be cooperating rather than continuing to ask for leeway in getting protection from the courts against arrest. I wouldn't say imminent because that is possibly a fear that comes from somewhere, but I would say an arrest that they apprehend.
Okay, because Rhythm, some people in the country and elsewhere also do not like the moment you begin to question them. You can give them a platform, they love to talk, they have an opinion like on everything under the sun, but the moment you start asking them questions, and if the questions become tough, this is what Robert Vadra does. We let our viewers decide whether that's a conduct that should be allowed and, just done okay with. But yes, the story is very serious. As Rhythm said, remember, this is about a land deal. The High Court there, for the moment, opining on the fact that it has given protection for arrest for the next 4 weeks, but that's about it. The investigation will continue. Rhythm, as always, thank you so much for helping us understand that big story. We're heading into a break right now. When we come back, it's also another big development in the Disha Salian case. The Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister confirms there will be an SIT inquiry into the case. Also, amidst a global alarm over COVID cases, the Prime Minister has earlier chaired a key review meet on preparedness.
Powered by ArcelorMittal, Nippon Steel India Limited, Smarter Steel's brighter futures. Tata Capital, Palak Jhapkao, Loan Pao.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
जैन 2022 से अब तक रोहन 6 बार डंप हुआ है, बट रोहन वो तो लहरा रहा है क्योंकि जियो मार्ट के ग्रैंड फिनाले सेल में शॉपिंग पर मिलेगा अप टू 80% ऑफ। तो साल जैसा भी गया हो, एंडिंग तो जबरदस्त होगी।
With Beto's Diabetes Care Program, you get online doctor consultations, all your prescribed medicines and dietitian support on call. Get your complete diabetes management kit and expert advice with Beto's Diabetes Care Program. Give a missed call on 740-1100.
India welcomes those who further India's pride across the globe. Indian diaspora, partners of New India's growth journey in Amrit Kaal. Come and be a part of the 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas from 8th to 10th January 2023 at Indore, Madhya Pradesh, India. For registration, log on to pbdindia.gov.in.
Hey Rahul, what's up?
Hey, kicked about our first date?
Of course.
Benefits up to rupees 30,000 only at the Citroën C3 Carnival. Book today.
Reimagineering brighter futures with smarter steels. ArcelorMittal, Nippon Steel India. Smarter steels, brighter futures.
Pooja, you left the job and still so cool?
Bro, new challenges bring new opportunities.
Oh, really?
Seriously, Rahul, my entire house, now it's an online retail store. Look.
Wow. But money?
Few years back, I'd invested my Diwali bonus.
And now you have LIC's ULIP plan Nivesh Plus. Invest once, get the benefit of both life insurance and maximize returns based on market trends.
One sec, Rahul.
Madam, you are double cool.
Guys, just 1 second. Choosing a car for my mom.
What? Online car shopping? Wow, that's so cool, yeah.
Shahrukh ne bataya.
Wait up. Booking a car service.
From here?
क्यों? तुझे शाहरुख ने नहीं बताया?
इसने पूछा ही नहीं. There's so much more जो शाहरुख ने नहीं बताया. It's all on the industry first My Hyundai app. Open a world of possibility with My Hyundai app. One app, many worlds.
Welcome back. In a big development in the Disha Salian case, the Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister now says that an SIT inquiry is going to be initiated in the case. As always, there's a lot of political tu-tu-me-me that we have seen on the case, where you have the Uddhav Sena questioning the intent of the ruling government behind this move. And Devendra Fadnavis has also said that anyone who has evidence can actually come forward, and he says that there should be justice in the entire case.
ऑलरेडी केस आहे. या संदर्भातली जी मागणी आहे निश्चितपणे जे काही पुरावे ज्यांच्याजवळ असतील त्यांनी द्यावे. या संदर्भात एसआयटीच्या माध्यमातून चौकशी केली जाईल. दादा
आता कोण नाही, आता सामान्य
ते न्यूज रिपोर्टच्या आधारावर बोलले आहेत. मुळामध्ये दिशा सालियन केस ही कधीच सीबीआय कडे गेलेली नाही. सुशांत सिंग राजपूत केस ही सीबीआय कडे गेलेली आहे. सीबीआयला ज्यावेळेस विचारलं दिशा सालियनच्या संदर्भात त्यावेळेस त्यांनी सांगितलं आमच्याकडे केस नाही, आम्ही त्याचं इन्व्हेस्टिगेशन करत नाहीये, आम्ही केलेलं नाहीये. त्यामुळे त्या संदर्भातला सीबीआयचा कुठलाही क्लोजर रिपोर्ट नाहीये. सीबीआयच्याकडे सुशांत सिंग राजपूत ही केस आहे, त्या संदर्भात त्यांनी काही फॉरेन्सिकचे रिपोर्ट दाखवलेले आहेत किंवा सांगितलेले आहेत. आणि मी आपल्या मार्फत या सभागृहाला किंवा विरोधी पक्षात बसलेल्या लोकांनाही आश्वस्त करू इच्छितो की कुठलाही राजकीय अभिनिवेश न ठेवता या संदर्भात जे काही पुरावे आता मांडले जात आहेत त्या पुराव्यांच्या आधारावर कुठलाही राजकीय अभिनिवेश किंवा कोणाला टार्गेट करण्याचा विषय याच्यात होणार नाही. अतिशय निष्पक्षपणे नवीन पुरावे जर काही आले असतील तर त्या संदर्भातली चौकशी होईल.
सुशांत सिंगनी आत्महत्या जी केलेली आहे त्याच्यामध्ये कुणाचाही दोष नाही आणि त्यांनी ती आत्महत्याच केलेली आहे असं तपासात सिद्ध झालेलं आहे. केंद्रीय तपास यंत्रणेने ते सांगितलेलं आहे. आणि त्याच्या संदर्भामध्ये दिशाच्या बद्दल पण आपल्याला सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे.
transpired that Sushant Singh Rajput has committed suicide.
प्रयत्न आज सत्ताधारी पक्षाच्या
And even the Central Bureau of Investigation has given the evidence over the Disha Salian case, but it is just a play that has been done by the
माध्यमातून तपासून सुद्धा या प्रकरणात सुशांत सिंग राजपूत आणि सगळा विषय हा पूर्ण झाला, तपास पूर्ण झाला.
The investigation has been completed when it comes to Sushant Singh Rajput or this case.
इतर अनेक विषय त्याला जोडले गेले.
There are many of the cases that has been discussed in the assembly.
विधानसभेपर्यंत नेण्यात आला. याचं कारण एकच.
And now this case has been brought to the assembly is just because
2 दिवसापासून
since 2 days
महाराष्ट्राच्या मुख्यमंत्र्यांनी केलेला
since 2 days opposition leaders has been asking Maharashtra Chief Minister to resign in the land case, the corruption that has been conducted by the Chief Minister, and he has to resign. But this is just to divert the topic in the assembly. Disha Salian case has been brought up in the assembly.
So we just heard Sanjay Raut there on the entire case. Let's also get in our colleague Alisha, who's been tracking that investigation and the fallout very, very closely. Alisha, what is the kind of political reaction, the political voice that you've heard so far? Why should certain political parties today have a problem if this case is reopened, if the case is investigated, and if there is justice for Disha?
Well, Dipti, as far as this case is concerned and the political reaction that we've been continuously seeing, whether it is Ajit Pawar, who is a senior NCP leader, or whether it is Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut, clearly mentioning that in the assembly where they have been continuously asking for the Chief Minister to resign on a case, the topic that has been taken and been discussed in the assembly, but just to divert the case, the Disha Salian case has been come up. But what has been important to point out, because what has also been mentioned by Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister and Home Minister Devendra Fadnavis in the assembly, that this case has to be investigated because there are some of the new evidence that has been emerged. He also stated that the case which is now going to be investigated by special investigation team, it will be in an impartial manner.
All right, Alisha, we'll have to see what happens in the entire case. And like I said, Devendra Fadnavis had made that announcement. He says that the SIT will be formed in the case. This means that there's going to be a notification. An SIT will be constituted, and we'll have a better idea of who really will be a part of the SIT and how the investigation will progress. For the moment, I thank you for getting us those details. And do remember, this is also a debate that Arnab is bringing to you later today, and a case that is still far from justice. The reason why it's important to get down to the bottom of this as we head into a quick break right now. But also on the other side, our spotlight continues to be on the ever-evolving COVID-19 situation. The Prime Minister earlier has held a review meet. Also, a lot of states now are putting out their own COVID protocols. And what about our netas? Rahul Gandhi continues to be defiant. He says all this is happening because the BJP is running scared of his Bharat Jodo Yatra.
Powered by ArcelorMittal, Nippon Steel India Limited. Smarter steels, brighter futures. Tata Capital. Palak Jhapkao, Loan Pao.
ऑलराउंडर हम भी हैं।
और तुम्हारा किचन कभी स्टेन्स, कभी जर्म्स, तो कभी पानी। आपकी किचन और बाथरूम्स को चाहिए MYK लेटिक्रीट SP100, टाइल जॉइंट का ऑलराउंडर। MYK लेटिक्रीट SP100, जोड़ हो तो ऐसे।
Volkswagen Tiguan, India's safest SUVW. Volkswagen.
क्या हुआ रोहन, क्या सोच रहा है?
रिया पहली सैलरी मिली है, तुम भी कुछ आइडिया दो, एक्सपेंसेस को कैसे प्लान किया जाए।
रोहन, एक्सपेंसेस के साथ साथ इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लान करना भी जरूरी है।
देखो, सैलरी का कुछ हिस्सा घर के रेगुलर खर्चे के लिए और कुछ मैं अपने लिए भी तो सोच सकता हूँ ना, लेकिन इन्वेस्ट कहाँ करूँ?
सिंपल है, NPS में।
NPS में? रिया अभी तो मैंने कमाना शुरू किया है, इतना आगे के लिए अभी से क्यों पैसे जोड़ूं?
वो देखो, एक एक करके ईंट जोड़ी जाती है, तब जाके एक घर तैयार होता है। वैसे ही अभी से पैसे जोड़कर हम भी अपना रिटायरमेंट सुखी बना सकते हैं।
बात में तो दम है।
NPS कम लागत वाली फ्लेक्सिबल लॉन्ग टर्म योजना है, जिससे आपकी बचत ग्रो होकर पेंशन का लाभ देती है।
अच्छा, फिर तो मैं अभी अपना NPS अकाउंट ओपन करता हूँ।
जो कल की सोचते हैं वो आज से ही थोड़ा थोड़ा जोड़ते हैं।
पेंशन है तो टेंशन नहीं। NPS में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है।
Whenever I had ice cream or cold water, I would experience a sharp shooting sensation. So I just kept ignoring it. Even my hot chai was giving me the same amount of discomfort. My dentist recommended Sensodyne. So now I can be completely carefree and sip my hot cup of tea. It really works.
Reimagineering brighter futures with smarter steels. ArcelorMittal, Nippon Steel India. Smarter steels, brighter futures.
Everyone looks at the world today. At Hyundai, we go beyond with experiences that take us forward. Inspired by our today, we design your tomorrow. Some said electric is the future. We said, why stop there? At Hyundai, we are going beyond mobility, and you are welcome to join us.
Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister puts focus back on Disha Salian case, orders SIT inquiry. Amid global alarm over COVID-19, Prime Minister Modi chairs key meet on preparedness.
अब यात्रा को रोकने के लिए बहाने बन रहे हैं, सब बहाने हैं। हिंदुस्तान की शक्ति से ये लोग डर गए हैं।
But Rahul remains defiant, mocks COVID alert, says it's an excuse to stop his yatra. Big setback to Vadra. Vadra 8 plea on Bikaner land deal dismissed.
Sir, just one response from you, sir. Sir,
पुलिस
if you think, sir, what?
पुलिस केस करो इनके ऊपर।
Robert Vadra loses cool on media when questioned on Bikaner land deal. Why is he panicking?
You see how vibrant we are, how colorful we are, how we have contributed in building up of this great nation.
The TMC leader faces backlash for mocking tribal attire of Meghalaya. All right. After Nepal's Supreme Court on Wednesday ordered the release of Shobraj, 78 years, who has been in jail there for close to 2 decades on murder charges, Charles Shobraj is all set to walk out free anytime now. In fact, we were told that he might be released from the jail at around 6:30 p.m. and which